All right, everybody, welcome back into the Golden Tee Lounge. I am Kevin Lindsay. It is Friday. It is 5:30 on a Friday, which means it's almost quitting time, which means it's almost time for you to be finding a Golden Tee Live 2020 cabinet near you so you can get out there and play in today's Freaky Friday. It is Friday, December 13th. Nobody has jumped out of a window or a door to scare me or stab me in the back, so I think we're doing good so far. But that means it is the All-13 special, and we're kicking things off with hole 13, of course, from the Great Wall. Nice long par 5 here. Pretty simple. I am using the Dart golf balls, as always. Dustin Anderson, thank you for joining us. Glad to hear that you have your brand new home edition and that you're playing it. A lot of stuff going on this week. We have our commercial event and a home edition event, and essentially it is the 18 holes that you didn't see from our remastered courses. So if you are on the home edition and you are playing in this week's X-Man contest event, you are seeing, I believe it is the front 9 of Coral Ridge and the odd numbers of Coral Ridge and the even holes from Castleshire, and then the flip side on the commercial end. But we are here for Freaky Friday, so let's take a look and see what the scores are so far. $3,500 in the prize pool. Joe Massara, shock to nobody on planet Earth, 40 under. Paul Taylor making his return with a 38 under, and then a handful of 37s in between. So that means today's course is pretty scoreable. Hopefully I can do somewhat of a service to them and get, I don't know, at least 35. We'll see how it goes. Typically on a Friday we'll play 3 to 5 games or 8 to 10 depending on how good and or poorly I am playing. It has been a little while. I think I was live. No, I wasn't even live this week. We did a preview for events mode. We had a lot going on. We had our Christmas party. We had our Don Pescioni send-off. So Don has our vice president of the amusement division has kind of ridden off into the sunset. Shout out to that real friendly tree right there. We sent Don off at our Christmas party yesterday. A successor has been named, but I will not spoil surprise. We'll have more news on that next week. We want to make sure that Don enjoys his send-off just a little bit more than I enjoyed that missed putt. Paul 80, you're welcome for the invite that you didn't receive. You will at some point, but let's see. Let's see how things go here. So now, of course, you're looking at hole 13 of Sandy Reef, which I'm just setting myself up for failure here so the next couple games look good. Sorry, people are texting me knowing damn well that I'm live on the internet, but that's okay. That's my excuse as to why I'm playing so poorly. Dustin, I am actually using a ball towel. It is this real snazzy 2017 Golden Tee World Championship ball cleaner that we got. I don't put anything on the trackball. It is a hot topic when it comes to players of all levels and skills and crazy stuff like that. But what I say to players that have a new home edition is stay away from the grease. Get yourself a nice microfiber towel. We do occasionally do giveaways for some of the older stuff. We still have extras of, including those ball towels. But I would say microfiber towel is your biggest advocate there. Make sure you're wiping it off a couple times. I have kind of developed some OCD, thank you to some of the top players, whereas oh, look at that. Somehow got over that. I seem to clean the trackball a handful of times. I also get sweaty hands, not to the level of Danny Boy, who I'm sure will chime in at some point here. But, you know what? A clean trackball and a clean deck is just going to make things smoother for you throughout the afternoon of playing Golden Tee. So I say get a microfiber towel and just roll with it. Also, this is Dusty Bend, hole 13. Not a hole we typically feature on our Freaky Fridays. It's a pretty straightforward par 5. It is a little difficult. You can potentially hit some of the barns that are hanging out there. But because of the all hole 13, we wanted to make sure that it was not only scoreable, but there was some special inclusions that we don't normally get to feature, including that. You were taking a look at Rocky Howell, which teaser, this may or may not be the next Golden Tee course that comes out for the mobile game on Apple and Android devices. Just saying, if you don't have it already, you should download that from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store and play it, because it would make me feel very special. Why is my video? Oh, there we go. Okay. So what I was watching on my phone for Golden Tee fan comments was not showing up on my phone. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't just talking, hanging out, playing Golden Tee by myself for nothing. Oh, it looks good. Mayfield, 13 with some love. Shot points? No, of course not. No shot points. Gravy Beast, Robert Hamilton. Thank you guys for joining. Appreciate you guys joining us on this Friday afternoon. Somebody told me it was warm out. I'm not sure if I believe them because it is Chicago and it is December. I know it's supposed to snow next week, so hopefully people like Robert, you guys are enjoying the weather. Herbert Fieldman, because I am really, really sick and tired of your comments, my friend. I don't know what your problem is with me. I have never had a problem with you, whether it was Design a Hole or Golden Tee fan or any of that. So feel free to continue to hate on me for whatever the reason may be. But not going to change anything because I'm going to be here every week, handful of times throughout the week live playing Golden Tee. And you can continue to troll all you want, my friend. I wish you nothing but the best. But anyways, besides that, Freaky Friday, like I said, Joe Massara does have a 40 under. And for those of you that might be new to Golden Tee that don't understand how those kinds of scores are achievable, daily contest, it's the same setup, all 24 hours. So nothing you see here is going to change when we play another course or two, or another Freaky Friday or two. On hole 9 from Monument Valley, number 13, you're going to have the same 12-mile-an-hour wind, pin placement, the whole 9 yards are going to be the same. So for this, it's a pretty short look here. Typically, I'll use a 5 hybrid or a 3 hybrid to go underneath. That didn't happen. I used the 6-wood thinking it would be safe with the 12-mile-an-hour wind in my face. But that didn't go too well. Not even going to try the attempt. But the reason why Joe Massara and some of those top guys get such good scores is because they play, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50, and in some instances, 75 or more. They won't admit it, but we see the numbers, my friends. But these guys play so many daily contests each and every day. They memorize the setups, and these guys are some of the best players in the world. So they're going to see a look here. They're going to figure out the shot. A lot of times it's a full, which we have plenty of streams that you could check out to actually see what full is. But these guys memorize the shots so they know, okay, on hole 10, I'm going to lay up right here in this certain spot of the fairway, just hanging out in the middle of the water, and then I'm going to thumb the trackball a little bit to the right, or whatever the case may be. These guys, again, are much more talented than most, including myself, although that does look like a good shot for once. Gravy Beast, a full shot is when you pull all the way to the 3 or all the way to the 1 on the trackball deck and then hit it pretty straight. I've done it a few times, not often, because I usually am pretty terrible in general, and I don't need to add shots like that to screw me up a bit more. Again, another hole we don't feature very often, Bella Toscana. We have featured Bella every so often, but I don't know if we've ever in all the history of Freaky Friday if we've ever featured hole 11. And this is actually, now I understand why people say that this daily contest actually sets up pretty hard, because you're on the first cut, so you're definitely going to get some backspin, but this green, oh, look at that. Am I going to stay safe? All right, well, I laid up-ish. Wasn't the intention, but that worked out okay. Almost made the shot for eagle, but I will take the birdie. The one thing I do enjoy about the daily contest, it really is a repetition contest, but it's perfect for new players. I know when I made the transition from like a regular Golden Sea player to somebody who played, in the prize play contest, went to the tournaments, etc. I played the daily contest a lot, not because I was trying to get big scores, which occasionally happen, but mostly because once you take a look at setup. Now this is a bad example because it's a pretty tough par 5. As evidenced by my terrible putt. But, for example, okay, hole 13, it's par 5. It is, what is this? This is Pelican Grove. So I know if I just go ahead and pull it out to the B, hit a little bit of left to the 2, I'm going to set myself up pretty straight at the hole. Now, the more you play in a contest, the more you're going to see the same setups, the more I can say, okay, maybe this time I will hit a 10.5 degree driver with backspin. I've got an up 3 green. I'll get a little bit of a kickback, but depending on how far I hit it, which, again, that's a good shot, but it's not as close as I would hope. So maybe the next time I set myself up for the same shot, but instead I use the 3-wood and I hit it a little bit harder. But you're going to train yourself to understand and appreciate the distances on the clubs and the golf balls you're using a bit more than if you're just playing in a contest with your buddies, or you're having a beer after work and you're just playing a game by yourself. So I highly encourage newer players to get into the daily contest. Make sure you don't have expectations to take first place and win, because although it may happen, it's very rare, especially if you're a new player. But we pay 300 spots in the daily contest for that exact reason. Sergio, Daryl, Paul, Nick, all you guys, thank you for joining us. This is Sequoia Grove, hole 13. We featured it every so often, but a little bit of a longer look here. I'm going to try to cut my driver. I'm going to pull it out to the C, probably in between the BC down here, hit it out in between the 2-3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut distance off from that 310 driver, and I'm also playing in to that 12-mile-an-hour wind blowing to the right. That actually... Oh, please go in. I really wish I was using grabbers, so that would go in, just so I could tell my friend Paul Lady, that he sucks. But, all good, my friend. But that was actually exactly very rare Kevin Lindsay moment where what I say and what I try to do is actually what happens. Hole 15, Laurel Park 13. This is a fun one. I remember trying to get this shot back in the day. We're going to try it now. Not sure if it's going to work. I'm going to take 6-wood. I'm going to crush it as hard as I can straight over the trees. And the hope is, just like that, the 10-mile-an-hour wind is going to keep that locked enough on the green. And again, I'm using those dart golf balls, which to me are like grabbers, but they slow down much quicker. Which, if you're trying to hole out, it does suck. But if you're trying to stay on the green and just hit those birdies, hit those eagles, if you're a new player, I highly recommend trying out the dart golf balls. This is always a fun one. Hole 16, this is Coconut Beach, number 13. I remember seeing this every so often in closest to the pin. Oh, that didn't work. This one's a tough one in the sense of I knew I should have probably set up my shot a little bit more than I did, but that's okay. So for this being game 1, it's actually going pretty well. Minus that Invisaleaf I just hit, but hey, all good.
It's on, but it's not close.
take the par, walk away knowing, hey, next time I should probably take a little bit more time to think about the shot. Another good hole that we do not feature, another hole we don't feature a lot is Woodland Farm 13. This is actually, this was one of the first courses that I really played as I got into live and not just that casual. This is fun. This is a unique size green to work with. I don't think I pushed that enough. Yeah, I hit that a little. That was one of those, as soon as I hit it, I knew it was a bit too soft. But again, just fueling the next game that we're going to play, and so we can learn those shots. And for those of you that might be newer to Golden Tee or might just have played the mobile app, you know, go to goldentee.com. There's a Find a Game link on the GT Caddy mobile app. There's a Find a Game icon called Places. You can click that to find a game near you. Jesse, I am using the dart golf balls, and this is actually a very solid hole 18. Jamaica Bay 13. I would say probably one of the harder drivable par 4s from Golden Tee 2020. But the fun thing is, this is actually a pretty good setup. You can hit it pretty hard. I'm hoping I didn't get that as hard as I wanted. Actually, apparently I hit that too hard.
That's not what you want to see.
So 10.5 degree driver. Give it a little too much gas. Also, yeah, I knew that was happening.
This slide just stinks, Jim.
So, game one, ups and downs. But again, this is why the daily contest, you can play as many times as you want in 24 hours. This is why I play at least, I try to play 3 or 4 games on the daily contest for you guys. So when you get out there, you can play a few games, learn those shots a bit more, but also hopefully not make as many mistakes as I did. Paul Luna, Scott Johnson, Nate Morrison, thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here today in this hour with Peter Jacobs.
But this is fun. This is a nice setup. It's definitely a 30 or so under. I have a good feeling that sometime very soon this afternoon, I will at least get past 30 under.
Golfer one with a shot at eagle.
Ooh, okay. Not sure how up 5 went left, but I also didn't follow my own advice, which is always click 1 to the left, always click 1 to the right. So, I kind of deserve that. Number 2, hole 13 from Eagle Crest. I believe Eagle, this is a 2008 course. Our residential Washington, D.C. course. Very fun course. Highly recommend you play it in invites or when it shows up for Classic Course of the Week. Alright, so what I'm not going to do this time is hit it too soft. I'm going to use that 9-mile-an-hour wind to my advantage. Nice little backspin. This may or may not be a grabber setup. I might have to switch. I don't like to switch typically. But I do like the setup on hole 4, Sunnywood 13. It gives you a really nice setup, especially with the wind. You go one click over to the right with that 5 hybrid. You can put some bite on there. Swing it in. Now that time I swung it in there pretty hot, but that's exactly what I wanted. Again, the dart golf balls going to slow down a bit much when they hit the green, but that is perfect for this. Hole 5, Dusty Bend, hole 13. Again, we are going to we're going to go over to the right a little bit. High T3 wood. A little bit too far to the right, but I think we'll be okay.
With a nice drive.
That was coming in, real hot. Actually, wait, did I not have to chip anything? Well, anything realistic in last game? That's actually a first for me. Which is shocking. It's alright. So, 9 after 5. Bombs. Not the best, not the worst, for sure, though.
Is this wind the problem? Slight tailwind here. Should give a little information. Get there. Call for one with the putter.
If you're not already doing so, make sure you are following us at Golden Tee on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, Mixer. I don't know, there's probably something I don't even know about that I'm missing, but make sure you're following us on those platforms. We got a fun caption contest going on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we're giving away some Golden Tee swag for the best captions. I feel like we're gonna get very, very close on hole 7, Mayfield 13, but we're not gonna seal the deal. But see what happens. 13 after 7. This is already looking better than it was before.
Jim, it's perfectly in the fairway.
Actually, this sets up pretty nicely. This is Pearl Lagoon, number 13, of course. I don't even know. Do I really need to say hole 13? I think you guys have it figured out by now. If you don't, check the date on your calendar. This is where the dart's playing really nice. I came in hot. I opted not to use bite or backspin. It's also why I clubbed down to the 10.5 degree driver. But the dart golf balls, nice and slow, right towards the cup. Don't even have to worry about spin at all, which is nice. Now, this is one of those shots where I used the 6-wood. Didn't carry as much into the wind as I thought, so we're just going to go ahead and low tee this with some release. The hope being that, perfect, the 3 hybrid is going to, well, probably should have used roll there. Ideally, you want to take that 3 hybrid and land right there. Have a nice clean shot. Now again, this is not it's not a give me at all. Not a gimme at all. This is Monument Valley, which is, I believe, 2010 course. A little bit more difficult course from back in the day, where par was typically 24 to 26. So you're going to have stuff like that. But look at this. Par is going to probably set up for 36 until Danny Boy says otherwise. But look at that. Missed a stroke on hole 1, missed a stroke on hole 9. 16 under, though, still a good score after 9 holes. Within the next couple games, we will get that 18 under in the front 9. I'm going to try something different here because this is a really nice setup on hole 10, minus the fact that I just hit it way too hard. Not always do you have the option to go left or right. Now, I'm going to play a little bit close here. Yeah, I hit the trees there. I kind of expected that to happen. I hit that a little bit too hard.
Here again is call for one.
Again, this is where I almost am tempted to switch to the grabbers just for today's daily contest. We might see how that plays off, but not really causing too many issues outside of just terrible play. Again, if you're just joining us, this is Auburn Glen number 11, or excuse me, number 13. I believe this is Golden Tee 2012. Fortunately, got caught up in the dirt there. Oh well.
Whoa. He's got no excuses from this line, Jim.
There's one downside is if you do not land on one of those pads of the first cut fairway, you're going to end up in the dirt, and then you're going to have to kind of distance management after that. Todd, lately I would say that there's probably not too many par 3s, just because players of all skill levels seem to love the opportunity to hit some of them higher scores. Monday Mix-Up always has a par 3 because we're just taking a course and jumbling up the order. But I would say Freaky Fridays typically seem to have more par fours, drivable par fours, and then of course just regular par fives. Because what we've seen, what we've seen across the board, and this has been a trend probably the last couple of years, is that players really like to shoot high scores, even if it's in something like a daily contest where par might be 36 under. If I'm a new golfer or I've been playing for a couple of years, I shoot a 30 under, still going to make me feel good. And in all the player feedback we get, whether it's social media or calls or emails, that kind of stuff, people really do appreciate that. Every once in a while, it's probably coming soon. I know Adam and I have talked a little bit about building the next couple of months of Freaky Friday. I believe our current schedule goes through the middle of January. But every once in a while, we do have those par 3 contests, those par 4s. I'm sure we'll have break the scoreboard coming soon. Those are always really good because then that's when I think Joe Massara hit a 50 under last year. You get opportunities to really shoot some ridiculous scores. Oh, that was kind of lucky there. Probably should not have gone that well. My lines have been very good. If you are somehow good at following the lines when it comes to pulling the trackball back, that's what you should do on Sequoia Grove, which ends up being hole 14. Another nice look here again. Laurel Park, number 13. You just want to take the 6-wood right over the trees. Now that time I hit it a little bit, actually a lot a bit too soft. That's alright though. That's why I hit that pretty hard. Last time I think that just showed up as like a 115. But last time I hit that a bit harder knowing that I had the backing of that 13-mile-an-hour wind to get me back on the green and kind of stick for a long putt. Alright, I made the mistake of not moving my tee back for hole 13 of Coconut, which is number 16. Somebody did remind me of that, and that is so much better of a shot. Now I will be putting in for Eagle. Hal, thank you for joining us. Dustin, I agree with you there. I would much rather have the opportunity at an all par 4 or an all par 5. But the par 3s are fun because you know the par is going to be close across the board, and it really challenges you to develop better accuracy when it comes to your shots. I did the same exact damn thing I did before. I just didn't hit it hard enough.
Peter, will it fly the hazard? No trouble here, Jim. Golfer 1 on the green. Okay, Farsi.
Alright, so score is not ideal, of course. Now see, that time, I don't know what happened there. That time I only got 131, so that just really died mid-air.
Stuff is hard to hit from. Now that's really close. Golfer 1.
Like I said before, Jamaica Bay is probably one of the more difficult par 3s, par 4s that we do have in 2020. Again, much better front 9, rest of it, awful. So it is, what, 6 o'clock Central Time? We'll get a few more games in. I got to make sure I at least hit a 30 because these have been some bad mistakes.
Beautiful blue skies. It's a great day for golf here at the Great Wall. Let's sharpen the clubs, shall we? Golfer 1 at the tee.
You know what? Just for shits and giggles, we are going to switch to the grabbers, see how that does.
Jim, that was a power drive. Gotta love these fairway lies.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. We'll see if I actually do that or not, just because I'm awful at fulls. If I'm going to screw up a shot, I would much rather do it on my own. Eric Espinosa, Toby West, thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate it.
On tee.
feel like I need some music in the background here, but that's okay.
A drive to remember. Right in the fairway, Jim.
All right, we're going to go no spin on this one. See if we can play the green now that we have the grabbers back. Not bad. Anytime you have a slope more than down 5, always pull back to the C. It, in theory, does slow down the rollers a little bit more, and it helps protect yourself from a rollover when it comes to those kinds of shots. I actually really like this. Ah, damn it. All right. I do have the grabber, so I'm going to get a little bit extra kick. It's not going to slow down as much. But again, the important thing is unless you plan on winning this contest, always be shooting for the fairways. Always be shooting for the green. Hole number 4, Sunnywood, number 13. Again, I got a little bit more with that since I'm using the grabbers, but again, it's going to be a nice Nice 5 hybrid under the trees. I went too far out to the left and to the right there, so I will be putting. Not a big deal, though. Didn't miss the putt. That's all that matters. Florida Mike, thank you for joining us, my friend. Appreciate it. Always good to hear from you. Hole number 5. This is Dusty Bend. Number 13. We are going to slide right on by the top of that barn. I'm thinking we're going to get some great shot points here. This does set up pretty well, and I did hit that one pretty solid.
There's just a trace of wind here, Jim. It's blowing in.
Kind of 50-50 on it. Now I am using grabbers, so it's not going to slow down. There we go. Perfect. Finally getting some great shot points. Chris Hennick, thank you for joining us. Evan Gossett, Jimmy Cameron. Appreciate you guys on joining us on Golden Tee Fan as well. Speaking of Evan Gossett, let's take a look and see what the current scores is. 40, 38, a handful of 37s, including Evan Gossett. So that 37 seems to be the score right now, but again, it is only 6 o'clock Central, so you guys have a little bit less than 6 hours to get out there and play. These guys, it wouldn't surprise me if Evan Gossett, 2018 world champion, if he was actually watching this while playing. Not because he wants to watch it for the tips, God no, much better player than me, but I'm sure he does like to laugh at me every once in a while when I play poorly. Robert Harker, thank you for joining us. Hole number 7. This is Mayfield 13. Gotten close so far. I didn't like that. I should have re-pulled the shot. That's one of those where, pro tip, if you're ever pulling back a shot and you don't feel 110% on the pullback, press the options button, press spin, do whatever, step away for a second, let the game reset itself, and then try again. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up screwing up your shot. Or not screwing up, but doing what I did where I didn't feel comfortable with the shot I was going for, but I went with it anyways. Could have had a lot closer, could have had some GSPs there. Stephen King, appreciate you joining us on Facebook. Not the snazzy straight look at the cup we had last time, but I am using grabbers, so hopefully it'll catch the green. Woo! Didn't catch the green enough. Damn it. That sucks. Dennis, happy holidays to you too, my friend. Doing well. Playing, could be worse. Could be much better. Alright, now I can get away with using release because I am switching back to the grabbers. Now this is what you want to do. You want to land on that bottom spot. You got a nice solid shot at eagle. Actually, oh, off the stick. Thought it was an ultra. Didn't get the ultra, bounced off the stick, which made that so much nicer because I could have and probably should have been chipping that out of the rough. Alright, so right there. That water ball on hole 8 cost me 18 after 9, which is the par, but that's okay. Now that time I did hit a full, because why not? That is a full. You pull it back to C, you hit it straight. I do not do it very well, but every once in a while, you know, I get, I have my moments. Now, the wind did not blow as far to the right as I had hoped. These are one of those shots where, damn, I wish I had the darts instead of the grabbers that I switched back to because it's pulling too far to the left. Still made the putt in for eagle, though. Solid. Hole 11, Bella Toscana. Again, this is where we had the issue where I ended up hitting the dirt last time. So you want to make sure that you stay on that green. It is what they call first cut, but it does give you, basically, it is like you're hitting the fairway. I'm playing this safe because I would much rather have a 50-foot putt in for eagle than have a chip for birdie and then a putt for par. 47 feet, no big deal. Actually played pretty well. Eric, thank you. Appreciate the shout out.
Ready to tee it up, golfer 1.
Hole 12. This is Timber Bay. Always a tough shot. It's unless you've played this course a lot, my suggestion is go as far right as possible without hitting the trees. You're never going to be lined up for a straight shot. But you're still, actually, of course, I tell you, they're not going to line you up for a straight shot. But it actually did that time.
Golfer 1, ready to putt. Eagle, my.
So what is typically a more difficult par 5, pretty easy setup there if you just low tee that driver. This one didn't get that far to the left as I wanted, but main thing is avoid the trees above you. As long as you get far enough away, you don't really have to worry about those trees being in a play. But I am a little bit farther, so I do get to use the 3-wood. Almost makes it a good shot there.
You need to putt.
24 after 13. Although we've had some screw-ups, not a bad go at it so far. Again, that was where I don't listen to my own advice. I thought I should probably rethink this shot. I was really thinking about, man, if I could get a solid line like I had the last couple of games, this would be perfect. Whew. Coming in a little too hot there. Oh, wow. All right, well, it's a bad game anyway, so we'll take the par there.
Ready at the tee. It's golfer 1.
High tee, 6-wood. Again, make sure you give it enough of a push. Now, this is the one downside of not having the darts, is the grabber is just going to hit that green and continue to roll. Still a very doable putt, but always, anytime you're putting for maybe more than 35 feet or more and it's a dead straight up 8 or up any degree, make sure you turn left. I have it up 8, left 1. I turn to the left 1. The degrees up go down, but I'm pushing a little bit farther to the left. So I know at the very end of this, I'm going to get that extra degree or so of left green slope.
Golfer 1 at the tee.
Hole 16, Coconut Beach. Again, always tee it back to the corner of the box. Thought about putting roll on that, but this one, pretty straightforward. Get it on the green. You're going to have a 20 to 30 foot putt for eagle. If not closer, maybe grabbers was the way to go.
Golfer 1,
All right, hole 17, Woodland Farm. Now this time I made sure I hit it hard enough, but I hit it too hard, so I missed the green, hit the fringe, and then I got wet.
Peter, what do you think? These are tough to keep close. Just a little chip shot here. Ball for one. That'll be par, Peter. Teeing it up for the last.
Nice thing is, if I don't screw this up, I still have a chance at a 30 under. Now this time I played it a little bit safer. I went with the 9.5 degree driver, but I played into the wind. Oh, come on. I went to the right so I could try to bounce it off that bridge. Didn't happen, but that's okay. So be safe. Yeah, Paul, I'm not hitting a full on that shot. Yeah, Gravy B, so be safe. So 28 under. That time we didn't have any birdies or bogeys. I will take the fact that we had a couple of pars. But again, daily contest, same contest, 24 hours. You've got 5 hours and 45 minutes left to get out there. Play as many games as you want. Same setups all throughout the day until that clock hits 12 a.m. and it moves into Saturday.
The Great Wall. Hello, friends. Jim Nance.
We're going to stick with the grabbers here.
Ball for one on tee.
Seem to be doing us much better than
Wow. That one
the
just kept
darts,
going.
which I'm okay with.
Now to ball for one.
Brent, thank you for joining us. Oh, that's where I needed bite. It's all right. Great shot points are always going to be your friend in these contests, especially when there's thousands and thousands of different players that play in it. Eric Espinoza, apologize. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. Hopefully, when you get out there, you can go to Facebook, you go to YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, whatever the case may be. Get those games in. If you have any questions about any of the holes, just pull up the video. Give you plenty of options. Hopefully, this is going to be the one that we actually shoot pretty well on. I like this one. Fringe Love. Ah, all right. Well, that's what I was going for. Obviously, wanted the 6 foot, great shot points. That's okay.
Ball for one. Ready to hit.
Oh, is that one going to get there? Yes, it will. That one nervously hit that a little too soft.
With an eagle pop. Ball for one from the tee box. The drive was a whopper, Peter. Peter, does he need to worry about the wind?
The wind will force this to the left here, Jim.
All right, because we are using the grabbers, and this is going to come in a little bit hotter, I'm going to go with backspin. Actually worked out pretty well there.
Ball for one with the putt, trying for eagle. Ready at the tee. It's ball for one.
All right, hole 5, Dusty Bend 13. Make sure that you hit the 3-wood and that you high tee it. You're going to have to hit it pretty solid to get right over not only the barn, but the top level of that barn.
Peter, is the wind a factor?
Should give you a nice 9.5 degree or 8.5 degree driver at the pin. Pulled that one a little bit too far to the left, but bite is going to help hit that green and stop the spin. And then nice little putt there for eagle.
Ready to tee it up. Ball for one.
All right, this time, instead of hitting bite, on hole 6, Rocky Hollow 13. What I'm going to do is hit backspin, and I'm just going to push it out there pretty far. Again, because I have the grabbers, I'm getting a nice little kick with the backspin, not having as much of a slowdown like I do with the darts. Hole number 7. This is a good one. This is Mayfield 13. Been trying for a while to actually get a good shot here. It's bound to happen at some point.
Golfer 1 on the green, trying for eagle.
So far, so good.
Shot of golfer 1.
All right, now this is actually probably the best shot I've hit all day on here because it's going to set me right up at it. I'm going to put this, I'm going to hit this pretty well with bite, although it didn't go to the left at all, which is kind of disappointing, but I'll have a nice putt uphill.
Golfer 1 putting.
A little bit of a right push, but again,
Eagle 3.
play for the green, make those putts, make those chips, and play clean, and that's really all you can ask for. All right, low T, 3 hybrid. We put release on there, otherwise roll would be blowing past the fairway here. Even that came out pretty damn hot.
Just off the fairway, not too much trouble here.
Of course, the one time I'm playing clean and they give me a 10.5 degree driver. Nothing impossible, though.
Dazzle on this one.
Didn't really want to chip with the 5 hybrid, but I knew this. Knew that was a good opportunity to go ahead and use that 5 hybrid because, especially with those older courses, Monument Valley being in 2010, sometimes putting out of the rough comes out a little bit softer than you'd expect. So, finally, a solid eagles across the board here. Eagles on all 9 holes, 18 under. Let's see if the second half actually happens to do the same. This time, didn't want to go for the full, went for the C3 just to see where it would end up. Actually put me straight at the pin.
Hitting into a gale.
We'll get some nice little roll action there. Although roll, again, not using the darts so that grabber is going to kick. Should have saw that coming.
Hard to get the distance you want.
Golfer 1 with this. It's
So we broke the train of eagles,
ready to tee off.
but that's all right. We're still on track, hitting 35 if everything goes according to plan. Again, hole 11, Bella Toscana. You want to make sure that you hit on that first cut. This time I went with the 5 wood, hit that a little bit harder, so I'd have a closer putt for eagle. Actually worked out pretty well. But again, safe is better than sorry, especially if you're somebody who doesn't play the daily contest very often. You do it once or twice a week, or maybe during Freaky Friday.
Golfer 1 at the tee.
Timber Bay, again, always going to want a low tee here. Make sure that you hit the fairway or the fairway fringe and not the rough. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad second shot.
Should be a nice, easy shot. For
Wow, surprisingly enough, 2 times in a row, got a solid shot right at the pin off of the first cut.
Golfer 1 with a look and eagle. Next up, golfer 1.
Hole 13, Pelican Grove.
fairway, Jimmy. He's sitting pretty.
Nice shot there. You hold the flyby button to look up. You can see that there is no branches above your head. So I can just go ahead and hit that 3-wood exactly how I want to, not worried about clipping any trees and getting wet.
That's on the green. Call for one with a drive for eagle. Call for one on tee.
Hole 14, Sequoia Grove. We're going to try again. And see, that's the one downside of the grabbers is even with a low tee, I'm also not getting as much of a cut on it. It's not coming in as low, so I'm clipping that tree. But I do know that
I'd use a little less power here.
I'm not going to use the 3 hybrid here. We're going to use the 5 hybrid. Roll right past the hole.
Call for one needs this for birdie.
Take that birdie and walk away happy because especially on Sequoia Grove, could go many other ways. Hole 15, Laurel Park. You're going to want to hit a high teed 6-wood really hard. You want to just make sure you get it over those trees. Now that time, it ended up clipping just the last bit of those trees, so it's probably going to get wet. Disappointing. Super spin lob wedge is going to help kick that back so I can just have a nice little putt in for par. We will forget about this hole and move on.
Call for one from the tee box.
16, Coconut Beach, number 13. Always, if you're using a 10.5 degree driver, always make sure you move it back as far as you can. That way, you don't even have to high tee it. You could just go right on over. If that didn't hit the rock, would have been actually in the cup. I will take the great shot points, though. Not the hole-in-one I was hoping, expecting, or wanted. But, still got the eagle, still got a little bit of great shot points.
At the tee.
Think I hit that one pretty solid. It would actually make my day. Well, it's too far away, but I was hoping that would go in the cup.
Call for one with a bid for eagle.
So, if we don't screw this up, we can take a 32. I'm going to try the 10.5 degree driver this time. I don't typically hit my shots in coming from right to left like that, but stop.
Green, pull out the putter.
Bitch.
He'll be lucky to make
All right, well, that's unfortunate.
good one.
So, still ended up catching the water there on hole 18, which is Jamaica Bay 13. But at that point, I'm going to take the 30 under. I'm going to walk away. That was, what, game 4? Game 4, so again, solid front 9. Couple of mistakes on the back 9. Couple of birdies in between. But 36 under is your par. 18 on the front, 18 on the back. So, you've got, what is it, 6:30, 5.5 hours left till 12 a.m. Central Time to get out there, play as many games as you want in today's All-13 daily contest, the Freaky Friday in celebration of December Friday 13th. We have home edition events, we have commercial events going on through Sunday, we have Monday Mix-Up, which is a nice throwback to 2005, the original year of Golden Tee Live. So, make sure you're getting out there, playing Golden Tee Live, sending us your great shots on social media. Play lots of Golden Tee, have fun, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next week.